All right, welcome back, my dear student. It's time for us to learn about Thinker. Thinker is a little command tool that we have. Well, it works with PHP Artisan, all right? But it's this little tool is going to allow us to play around with our database. It's called Thinker, Tinker, all right? Now, we can play with our database. We can create objects, and we can insert data. We can do basically the CRUD, the create, read, update, and delete in the database. And we can even check for relationships. We can do a lot of stuff here without messing around with routes or the browser or anything like that. So let's go ahead and see how we can access this little tool that is really handy. It comes really handy, all right? So what we do is we say PHP Artisan Thinker, enter, and now we are inside a Thinker. You see this? The shell, PHP, it tells you the PHP version that is using by Justin Hillman, whatever. Hillman. All right. So, how do we play around with Thinker? Let's actually insert some data, okay, in our table. Let's actually look at our table before we do that. So, we have 3 records here, okay? We're going to insert a 4th record so that way you can see that it does work, okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna create a variable in Thinker, all right, and then I'm gonna access the namespace of the module I want to use, which is post. Then we're gonna call the create method, which is a static method, right? And I'm just gonna go like this, just basically the same thing we do in the route, but inside Thinker. So we're gonna put the title PHP from PHP post from Thinker. Okay, we do the content. This is going to take an associative array, remember that. And here is PHP content from Thinker, something like that. I'm just playing around with it. Enter. We have an arrow there. Let's go back, and we have content. Oh, the reason why it's doing this is because we don't have an array here. All right, so make sure that you have an array. There we go. Enter. And now you can see that we have a new title, right? I mean, a new post with an ID number 5, and you can see this information here. Now, if you want to access that again, if you want to see it, you can click on, you can write post and click enter again. It will give you that article again that I just created, that post. So we come here to the PHP you refresh, you can see that new data here. Now, you can also now play around with it before entering data. So you can say, I'm going to create another post here. And I'm just going to say, I'm just going to create the object, okay? Like this, enter. Oops. Undefined constant. Alright, so I'm gonna create this real quick. Post. Oh, I was forgetting something. I knew it. Sorry about that, guys. There we go. We just gotta say new app post. Okay, so I just created an object with new app post, right? So now if I want to see the object, I go post, enter, and that's the object. Now we can go ahead and access the properties like this, and we can assign values to them. So I can say new title from this object. Yay. I'm not gonna say yay. Enter. Now you can see that if I try to pull up the object, we have a title for that object, right? Now keep in mind that this has not been persisted. It has not been entered into the database yet. So let's refresh, and you can see that it's not here. So we can play around with this. We can build the object and not put anything there. So I can come here again, and I can say content. Yeah, baby. I'm coding. Actually, I gotta escape that. I'm coding Actually, I didn't have to because I already had a double quotes, but that's fine. I'm coding and doing awesome or something like that. That's cool. Enter, and as you can see, if we pull out that object, now we have two pieces there of information, right? We have the title and we have the content. If you want to save it to the database, super simple. Post, and then we call the save method, right? Enter. Oops. Parse syntax unexpected. Oh, I forgot my dollar sign. Enter is true. That means it was saved. Okay. We can bring it back, and as you can see, it has been saved with the updated and created at and everything. And if we go back to phpMyAdmin, is we click on refresh, and we can see that that new data has been entered with all the fields that we need. Pretty cool stuff, right? But anyway, on the next lecture, I'm going to show you some more Thinker commands and how we can do other things with data, which is pretty cool. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next lecture.